So you've got that passion, right? That fire in your belly to really make a difference. But how do you actually turn that fire into real, lasting social change? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down here. How to move past just having good intentions and start taking effective, strategic action. Does this feel a little too familiar? You are pouring your absolute heart and soul into a cause you believe in. You're fighting for something that truly matters, but the progress just feels so slow. Or maybe it feels like you're not making a dent at all. If that sounds like you, trust me, you are not alone. It's a deeply frustrating place to be for so many people trying to do good in the world.
And that brings us to a really crucial point. Your passion, it's absolutely essential. It's the fuel. But, without an engine, a really solid process, that fuel just kind of burns away without actually getting you anywhere. So we're going to explore a toolkit, a set of structured techniques to help you channel that amazing energy into real impact.
First up, let's talk about something called the passion trap. This is where so many well-intentioned efforts get stuck. It's this idea that because we care so deeply and our cause is so obviously good that it should just work. But as you probably know, reality is a little more complicated than that.
I mean, does any of this look familiar? Petitions that just fizzle out. Fundraisers that, completely underwhelm. Seeing these huge opportunities pass you by because you just don't have the resources. And maybe the biggest trap of all, assuming our idea is a home run just because we want it to be. These are all symptoms of relying on hope as our only strategy.
So how do we get out of that trap? Well, it all starts with a pretty fundamental mindset shift. We need to learn how to think like a marketer. Now, I know, that word can make some activists and nonprofit folks cringe a little bit, but stick with me here. This is about selling ideas for the greater good, not just selling products for a profit.
And this right here is the big reframe. We're not talking about some cynical ploy to sell more stuff. We're talking about social marketing. The whole game is persuading people to adopt new behaviors or ideas for their own good and for the good of all of us. It's a really powerful way to look at it.
And check out how this breaks down. Traditional marketing, it's all about moving inventory, getting products off a shelf. Social marketing, it's about moving ideas into people's minds and hearts. One focuses on what consumers need to drive profit, the other focuses on what society needs to drive change. You're not just selling a car, you're selling the whole idea of a greener future.
Okay, so you've got that marketing mindset. What's the first tool in our toolkit? It is all about diagnosis. Before you can even think about marketing a solution, you have to be 100% sure you're solving the right problem. It's so easy to jump straight to solutions without doing that deep diagnostic work first. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's so easy to get caught up treating the symptoms of a social problem instead of digging in and trying to solve the actual root problem. We spend all our energy mopping the floor instead of fixing the leaky pipe. We've got to dig deeper.
And here's a beautifully simple way to do that. It's called the 5 whys. You just state the problem you're seeing, and then you just keep asking why with each answer you get. You might not even need all 5. The goal is just to drill down past all those surface-level issues until you finally hit a fundamental cause that you can actually do something about.
All right, let's talk about another idea that, it can be a little uncomfortable in the social sector. Cost-benefit analysis. The source material is really clear that even if the idea makes us cringe, we have to take it seriously. And why is that? Because our resources, our time, our money, our volunteers, they're all finite. We have to make sure they're being put to the absolute best use possible.
This table is such a great practical example. It really shows that cost is not just about dollars and cents. I mean, look at that fundraising party. Sure, it cost $1,500, but it also costs 80 staff hours and 120 volunteer hours. Is the return on that total investment actually worth it? Answering that question isn't cold-hearted, it's just plain strategic.
So, once you've diagnosed that root problem, you need a solution. And this brings us to the second tool in our toolkit, and this one is all about creativity. But here's the secret. Creativity isn't always about inventing something brand new from scratch. More often than not, it's about seeing a great idea somewhere else and brilliantly adapting it for your own purposes.
I mean, how freeing is that concept? The pressure to come up with some world-changing, never-before-seen idea is just immense. But guess what? You don't have to. A proven strategy that you adapt to your specific community and your specific cause is often way more powerful than a purely original one that's totally untested.
So where do you find these ideas to steal? Look everywhere. Seriously, look in the most unlikely places. What could a classic car magazine possibly teach you about building a loyal community for a recycling program? Or what could an ad in a parenting magazine teach you about how to message an adult literacy program? The connections are out there if you just start looking for them.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and bring this all together. The journey we've just mapped out is really about moving from wishful thinking and pure passion into a structured, actionable plan. It's about making that crucial shift from just hoping for change to actually strategizing for it.
So let's boil it down. What are the 3 key takeaways from our Innovators Toolkit? First, it's that foundational mindset shift. Start thinking like a social marketer. You're not just fighting for a cause. You are selling ideas for the greater good. And then the 2 essential tools. Tool 1, diagnose the real root problem before you do anything else. And tool 2, steal and adapt the best ideas wherever you can find them.
And really, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this right here. Hope is the spark. It's the motivation. It's the reason you get up in the morning. But it is not a plan. A strategy is what turns that hope into reality.
So I want to leave you with this to think about. For that cause that you care so much about, what's one core assumption you've been operating on? An assumption about the problem, or about the solution, or maybe about your audience? Because challenging that, well, that might just be the first step to your next big breakthrough.